Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. It's time for another video. This time, we're gonna be talking about Bionicle G2. Yep. Well, this is like my third copy of Golly Master. I won this in a raffle, and I'm happy I did. It was the only one I won in a raffle, so raffles are annoying and flawed, but hey. So, G2. Well, G2, story-wise, the fuck? Yes. Okay, there we go. G2 story-wise is definitely subpar and kind of boring and lame. It sort of dumbs down the story and compresses it to, obviously, you know, make it appeal to kids of, at the time, 2015 and 2016. It was planned for 2017 as well, until sales went drastically low. Subterranean, balls deep. It was amazing, honestly. It was incredible how Bionicle G2 failed. It's sad, honestly. And I was heartbroken to see it go away, because I wanted to see how they would continue on with 2017. Maybe that's when we would have gotten the Journey to One Makuta big combination model thing that I never got to build. I probably never will, unfortunately. Unless someone's willing to build it for me and send it to me. I don't know. I would have to get the Mask of Ultimate Power off Shapeways, and that's a whole other ball of wax. But yeah, Bionicle G2 set-wise, they had their flaws. The sets had their flaws. The Masters were great, though. They were a great, you know, sort of combination of the whole CCBS articulation, while also having a new gearbox system. People had problems with the knobs, the little four-lobed knobs that are on their backs as the gears, because they're not actual gears. Yeah, well, they were good enough. They were simple and effective. Some may argue otherwise. They're wrong. Now, they did have gears, these little miniature gears in dark gray, but I mean, those are perfectly fine. I don't disagree with those gears. They are small, but the lobes, the knobs definitely were kind of different. The Toa Masters were great. You know, you had dual functionality of weapons, you had a slew of great parts, recolors, awesome fun stuff. Then the Skull Villains came around. Oh wait, the Protectors. The Protectors needed names, but luckily Ryder Windham rectified that with the books. Izator was the Protector of Ice, so made sense. And Narmoto was the Protector of Fire. Narmoto sounds like a Japanese name almost. Which, you know, cool. But they were kind of a great Matoran stand-in, or like a villager stand-in, you know, kind of, you know, based on the Matoran from 2001, 2, 3, whatever. It was nice to see the Matoran getting some sort of representation in G2. You have villagers, you have 6 of them. The stud launchers were obviously weird. They were fun at first, but then you lose all the studs, and well, there goes your $10. But the Protectors did have nice parts. They were great parts packs. I should know because I've used their parts before. They had great recolors. They all had the same fucking mask across the board. And hey, the Protector build was kind of leveled up slightly with Ikimu from the Skull Basher, or no, Kulta versus Ikimu set, basically. And you got the Mask of Creation, which was our first version of the Mask of Creation at all. Until, you know, there was a canonization contest and whatnot. Those are flawed too, but hey. But G2, Ikimu definitely had some great parts too. The Skull villains, forgettable characters as all hell. Skull Grinder and Skull Basher are my favorites, but I recognize their flaws. The swinging function thing of Skull Basher's arms and weapons was definitely not for everyone, you know. It was interesting, it was fun, and I enjoyed it. Skull Grinder was kind of cool. I mean, it was cool that they actually gave him a fucking name, Kulta, which, you know, sounds like he's part of a skeletal cult of some sort. The cult of the skeleton army. He had that big weapon, which, you know, was prone to breakage. That's another issue we'll talk about some other day. But Kulta definitely was a cool set. He had the sword as well. Big, tall guy, you know. Skull Basher had the 2 axes, which were nice pieces, I think. Still breakable, though, which sucks. Because it can happen, you know. There's no avoiding it. Skull Slicer was kind of weird. It's like the story reason behind Skull Grinder is kind of retarded. I didn't care for it. I mean, Slicer. Slicer had 3 of those fucking blades where he should have had 4. He should have had 4 of those fucking swords. But hey, you could easily replace that chained weapon thing and throw that in your parts bin and give him a 4th sword if you so choose. Skull Grinder doesn't need it. Give Skull Slicer the sword. While you're at it, give him more armor. The function for Skull Slicer was pretty cool too, I think. It was different. He seriously needed his own mask though. The Skull's spider mask was kind of bleh. Give him a different mask. I mean, come on. Skull Warrior was one of those massive cretins. You can get like 50 of them. Build 50 of them. You know, like different. You have like half of them using the bow weapon, half of them using the staff weapon thing. Yeah. You could create an army of Skull Warriors, and it would be an interesting sight to behold. But for the most part, Skull Warrior was also kind of forgettable. The mask was cool in gunmetal, though. A skeletal Terminator style mask. Endoskeleton mask. And I'm sure people have made a Terminator. Skull Scorpio was shit, for the most part. The legs were immobile, but you can easily fix that with parts. Lego designed Skull Scorpio for us to fix. Take that into consideration, or take with that what you will, because I feel like Lego screwed up with Skull Scorpio, but they redeemed themselves in some way by letting us build our own version. The Uniters were great. They were definitely great. They kind of made everything the Masters had better in a way. With the gear function moved down in the, swinging, it's better in a way. But honestly, I feel like if you merge the two, both gear functions together for like a third wave of Toa, like what Ikimu did for the second wave of G2 2016, it would have been cool. Plus, Ikimu's still pretty cool. Not that good looking in a way, but I still like the look of him. Umarak the Destroyer and Umarak the Hunter are both fucking awesome. And the Elemental Beasts, let's face it, are not great. They're good parts packs. I like the parts that are used. The recolors are nice too. The creatures felt Okoto feel more alive and diverse. It felt like we had, like it was nice to see Rahi-esque cretins coming back to Bionicle. The Skull Lord of Skull Spiders was forgettable as always. You can obviously say that they kind of dropped the ball with Lord of Skull Spiders. But hey, nice function for the most part, kind of like a grabbing function, like he's grabbing a boob. It's terrible. And well, the little trap things, yeah, they're good for parts. That's all there is to it. And you got to collect a lot of great masks. G2, however, it seemed like LEGO lacked faith in the franchise. In G2, at least. The G2 definitely lacked, like, its own identity. It lacked the same charm and allure that Bionicle G1 had back in its 10 years of existence. And it sucks. It really does suck. G2 is not the worst LEGO theme of all time. Maybe a bit lazy in terms of the marketing, but, you know, they expected us to, carry the theme into the next generation and generations beyond. For 2 years. It was worth our time, but at the same time, it is what it is, basically. So, G2, like the aesthetics of the sets were great. The CCBS system, they were kind of leveling up the CCBS system with the gear functions, which they kind of continued with Star Wars sets, like Darth Maul. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Darth Maul was pretty fucking cool. And there was other Star Wars sets, CCBS sets, that had the gear function as well. It was great. And we have Bionicle G2 to thank for that. And as a result of that, we got a lot of good stuff. Again, the story is muddied down, compressed. Bleh. I know I used bleh instead of adjectives because that's all I can really say for it is bleh. The chapter books were okay. Kind of cheesy, but I have to respect Ryder Windham's writing. The activity book was shit. The graphic novels were okay, I guess. But the lack of charm, the lack of a signature, character, or no, the lack of, allure. There's no real allure to Bionicle G2 that you can't get in G1. G1 had quite an allure. It was stunning. At the same time, it was quite an experiment, but it was an experiment worth trying. And as a result, the community is as large as it is now. G2 has its fans. I love the sets. The sets are great. Some of them are a bit crap, like Qatar and Skull Scorpio. But hey, the villains are still forgettable. I still love Umrak the Destroyer. I'm going to keep that build forever. I'll probably take apart my Skull villains and the Elemental Beasts, because let's face it, they're not that great. They're not that great. They had good parts. You could expand upon them. That's the thing. LEGO put out their sets for us, the fans, to expand upon and build upon and basically craft our own vision of these sets with the parts that we already have and the parts that they gave us with these sets. That's basically what it comes down to. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. Seriously. G2 definitely lacked a lot. But there was definitely a lot to love. There was some decent music, I guess, in the commercials. Journey to One. Yeah, I'll talk about Journey to One another time. But the music, at least, was great for Journey to One. I will say that. Mike Raznick is a great composer. And there was other music that was used during the 2015 animations, which, by the way, the 2015 animations were kind of, it's exactly what it is. It felt like a father telling his son or daughter or whatever a story of these heroes, which I kind of understand. I guess that was probably what they were going for with the 2015 animations, and it kind of worked, but at the same time, I don't know. It pains me to say this, but I don't like G2 as much as G1. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. The marketing, though, was still completely, insane and stupid and fucked. Lego expected us to do their work for them. That's laughable. Do better, Lego. Do it yourself, for fuck's sake. After the death of G2, I was sad. I made a 30-minute video or so. I wanted to kill myself, but I chose not to. Because I knew it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. I still have my Okoto Island poster on the wall right here. I have my hand on it, petting it, because paper is still silky, it's still got the creases in it, and it's got damage, but hey, that's what happens when you tack it onto the wall 50 million fucking times. These sets are still great. I enjoy looking at them. I enjoy fiddling with the articulation and the parts and the gear function as well. But at the end of the day, just another theme that bit the dust. Another theme that bit the bullet. Another theme canceled by corporates. By Lego. And their corporate bullshit. You may like G2, and I don't blame you, honestly. G2 had good ideas. Story, again, was meh. But the sets definitely had quite a lot to offer in 2015 and 2016. Some of the ideas, like the gearboxes, were expanded upon in Star Wars sets, which was, again, pretty fucking awesome, I thought. Star Wars sets were great, too. I love General Grievous and Darth Vader, the first Darth Vader. They were great. But G2 definitely lacked a lot. It wasn't Bionicle enough, and nowhere near enough, and it just wasn't all there. It arrived dead in the water, basically, in terms of the marketing and other things. If you find them on eBay, if you want the parts, find them on eBay. But if they are going down in price, that might be a good thing, because nobody else is buying the shit. Nobody wants them. Except us, the fans, who want them for the parts. To build our own mocks. Or to expand upon designs like this. Gali is still my favorite Toa Master and Toa Uniter and Toa in general. And she forever will be. G2, rest in pieces. You have been since the end of 2016. And, well, you still are. Thank y'all for watching. I'm TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks there. Have a good fucking day, and peace.